Welcome to Pour the Wine. It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Garry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm pouring.
Another little tune, huh?
Yeah.
You're destined. You're determined to make this a musical, aren't you?
I'm trying.
You're trying. It's not going
to
to
sway
work.
you to my
stay
side.
strong. It's not going to work.
Yes.
Today, we're recapping and reviewing the finale of season number 2 of The Chicken Sisters. I do, y'all. It aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, September 28th, 2025, and is streaming right now on Hallmark Plus.
We would love it if you would click that follow button on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss an episode. If you listen on Apple or Spotify, you can also leave us a review, and hopefully it's a positive one.
Hopefully. I think we've gone over this. Can you leave a review on Spotify?
Or stars.
Or stars, yeah. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Because we usually we're Apple Podcasts.
Yeah,
so.
Mostly. Anyhow, you can also find us on YouTube and all other social media.
Our email address is pourthewine. It's romcomtime@gmail.com. So shoot us an email and let us know what you thought about the second season of The Chicken Sisters, how it compared to the first. Maybe we can talk about that towards the end.
Yeah, I think so.
Of our review.
We're going to have to.
Recap and review.
Recap it.
Or just send us an email about anything Hallmarky. We're real excited. Countdown to Christmas is right around the corner.
And I can't wait.
I know. I can't wait either. So shoot us an email. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. And we probably will bring it up on the podcast too.
Yes.
So how about that?
We probably will.
Well, Chicken Sisters Season 2, Episode 7, I Do, Y'all, was written by
Episode 8.
8. That was my fault. I'm so stuck on 7. I don't know. 8 was directed by Greg Beeman. He also directed the previous episode, but that's it for Hallmark. He does have almost 70 directing credits, though, including a lot of series.
Yes.
Like an episode of The Flash, which we never got into.
No, we didn't watch The Flash.
No, 5 episodes of Lucifer, which we
loved.
Yes, detective. 13 episodes of Falling Skies and 11 episodes of Jack.
Even I enjoyed Falling Skies, and I'm not into sci-fi that much.
I know.
But I thought it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it wasn't too much of a.
Well, I mean, the aliens were a little.
Yeah, but that was later on.
Yes,
you didn't.
Yes,
that was a couple seasons in.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
And Addison Clark wrote episode 3 of this season as well.
Episode 3, episode 8.
Oh, what am I doing?
I don't know. She also wrote, I think she did write one of the other. Is it episode 3?
Yes, she wrote this one and episode 3.
Okay, there you go.
She has no other writing credits on IMDb that I could find, but that's okay.
Right.
I'm pretty sure there might be some stuff out there. She does have co-executive producer credits for 5 episodes this season.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, IMDb isn't always up to date.
I know.
And I'm not sure who feeds the information to IMDb.
Right.
Because we found sometimes that directors are listed, but they weren't really the director. I think that happened this season.
Yeah, it did.
Either on this or one of the movies we reviewed where they literally had somebody, but on the credits on the actual scene, it was somebody else.
Totally different.
I would go with the credits on what we're watching, vice IMDb. So, I mean, for the most part, I think it's a pretty good source, but sometimes things aren't added in a timely manner or, not added at all.
Right. Do you think the person or the actor, actress puts that information up there? Or is that somebody from like Hallmark? Or,
I have no idea.
Like, how does IMDb get their information?
That is a very good question. Something we can look into.
They're using like APIs to connect to Hallmark and then.
Maybe. I'm not sure. That's something we can find out.
Let's drop the synopsis on this one.
In the aftermath of the storm, the folks in Merrimack remember they're stronger when leaning on each other, just as Gus, Nancy, May, and Amanda have learned.
Yep. And don't forget, we do drop spoilers, so if you have not watched this episode, which aired on Sunday, please stop the podcast, go watch the show, come back, listen, tell us what you think. Or you can do it in the opposite. Listen to the podcast, then go watch the show.
Go back and watch
We're not going
the
to be mad
finale,
at
the
you
season
either
finale.
way.
But we are going to give away some spoilers for sure.
We are.
In this one. I mean, you have to talk about what happens
throughout
my goodness. And the ending, yeah. So,
right.
In order to give an accurate recap and review.
All right. So, what was your thought on this one?
I thought this was, so we pick up after the storm or after the tornado. Right. So that was sort of where it picks up. And I thought it was a really good episode, a really good wrap up. It felt like they were wrapping it up, not knowing if they were getting another season. And I don't know if it's been renewed or not yet. I don't think we've heard either way. So I feel like there were some, wrap ups of some characters that could potentially be viewed as if it doesn't come back.
Finale.
If the series doesn't come back, you're at a certain point with the characters. But yet, if it does come back, there are places they can go. So I feel like it did a good job as far as that goes. I thought it was a good episode. I wasn't necessarily thrilled with the ending of it. So that would be the hang up for me. So that's why I'm kind of like, we come off of that really banging episode 7 that was like nonstop.
Yeah.
And so good. And I felt like the finale sort of fell a little more flat for me.
Okay.
After that last episode. And maybe just coming down off of that.
Right.
So, what'd you think?
Here's what I think. I kind of agree with you. And maybe one of the reasons, well, at least for me, was in the last episode 7, it was 2 characters together, right? In every scene. This one, it was like all of them were together like all of the time. So it was kind of like you were trying to listen to everybody, but maybe you were missing things.
I think it's a little different when you're taking notes too. And like we're really trying to figure out how we're going to summarize, what we're going to recap.
Yes.
And because typically we look at the characters and while we go character by character, that's how we try to do it.
Right.
And when they interact with other characters, of course, that does happen obviously throughout the episodes. But starting last episode, 2 characters were together, so we talked about them that way. These 2 characters were together. And in this one, it starts out and they sort of all stay together throughout the whole episode, which is fine. We just are going to review it a little differently.
Yeah. And maybe that's why it kind of fell flat, because not one person stood out or made something, I don't know. We'll get into the review. And let's see if we can kind of
for me, it was the ending. I feel like it worked, but then we got to the ending, and I just, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet.
Okay. All right.
So we start off at Nancy's house, right? Amanda, Sergio, and Frankie go to Nancy's house because it's right after the storm, and they're trying to make sure everyone is okay. And they find that Frank Jr. is there, and they're all kind of surprised,
and smiling, right?
Right. And they're kind of like, oh, hi,
Frank's here and you're smiling?
Yeah. And then Frank Jr. kind of looks at Sergio and he's smiling and he's like, how you doing, bro? And Sergio's like, what?
Okay, bro.
So that was kind of funny. That was.
Yeah. So you kind of get this feeling that, and it's kind of funny when you have a near-death experience.
Right.
Your attitude toward life and other people kind of change a little bit. And I feel like this is what's happening to Frank Jr.
Right. He's kind of coming around and he's realizing, life is short. And, and then Gus is like, turns out Frank Jr. is good for something, because he helped her down the stairs.
Gus is just Gus.
But, Frank Jr., the thing is, he's just immediately, I felt like he was too nice, like a complete 180. And I know people change and you have in your death and you kind of let things go, but I felt like it was such a turn for his character.
Right.
And I don't know, it might have been a little too much for me at first like that, because I think they were trying to force feed us like, he's changed. He's really nice. Look at him.
Yeah.
But you're still thinking, is he going to slip back in?
Yeah, in the back of their mind.
It's literally
like that. Yeah.
Like an hour later. You know what I mean? So we're not like days later and he's still like that. So
yeah, and he kind of looks at Frankie for like, for acceptance, or when he says that to Sergio.
Oh, he did? He looked
looks
at Frankie.
her like,
Oh, he looks at his daughter.
look at me, I did
Oh,
something nice.
I missed that. I missed that. Okay.
Yeah. And you're right. I felt like they did kind of shove it down your throat instead of him just coming up and go, hey, I'm glad you guys are okay.
Right,
it was more like, hey, bro, how you doing? So yeah, I can see that.
Right.
So
and then May and Jay show up
right
at Nancy's, and May is reluctant because she's got something she needs to tell Gus, and we assume we know what it is, but we're not 100% certain until she actually says it.
Right.
Or, well, we don't even hear her say it. But and then that's when Frank Jr. he's getting ready to leave, right? And he's like, hey, good to see you guys, to May and Jay. And she's like, good to see you too? Because he's just like completely different.
And that's what we were just talking about. It's like, okay, it's a little bit over the top. I get it, because he's been such a butt the whole two seasons. And
well, you love to hate him, right?
Yeah.
Like he's the actor's so good at making you dislike his character.
Yeah. And I'm not saying James Cott was terrible in this one. I'm just saying it felt like the writers on his particular character really, really tried to make him a good person way too quick. Way too fast.
Well, like I said, it's not that they made him a good person. It was the way it was delivered.
Presented. Yeah. So then they all decide to find a place to sleep. And Frankie, I thought it was so funny.
Because Gus has her windows. Right. The tree fell on her window. Right.
So they were going to stay at Nancy's because she has a big house and enough rooms. But because of the tree, they decided to stay over May and Jay's house, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
And they talking about they were divvying up the rooms, and Frankie's like, I get the room with the big bed, and then Jay goes, all the rooms have king size beds, and I'm like, okay,
of course.
Wow, that's nice.
And then Nancy says her and Gus can basically stay together in the same room or whatever. And Gus is like, I kick like a donkey, which I thought. So we had those we still had funny moments. We had some really great heartfelt moments too.
Right. But I wanted to go back for a second, kind of the opening where all the women are together, and it looks like, I think it's May's house. It's May's house, yeah. And they're drinking wine, and there's the chicken symbol.
The chicken. Charcuterie in the shape of a chicken. That was so cool. Yep, I thought that was really good.
So we found all of our chicken symbols.
Our chicken symbols.
Yay. So I thought that was pretty
have been found. That's right. We forgot to mention that at the top.
And then that morning, after going to sleep, because it was weighing on May to tell Gus about, what happened
to Mimi.
Because at this point, you don't know.
Right. Well, you assume.
You assume. And Jay was like,
but you don't know.
And Jay's kind of like, let's just let everybody get some sleep. It's not a good time. And then she's like, yeah, it's never a good time to say something. So
right.
But then they wake up the next morning and they're all chipper. And
I loved that scene. They're all making breakfast together. And that's the first time we see Lindsay and Sabrina again. I just love them. They're all kind of moving around the kitchen. That's kind of what I love about the holidays, when all the kids are here and everybody's moving around. Everybody's doing something, grabbing something, sitting down, the TV's on.
Yep.
I just thought that scene was really well directed and really well done, I thought. That entire scene.
It was. It was a really good scene.
Yeah.
But let's go back that night, because Amanda is sleeping with Frankie.
Right. Her and Frankie are sharing a room.
That was such a really funny scene, because Amanda's like, I got to tell you something about Sergio. He's not really just a friend.
Well, she's like, we might be more than friends.
Yes. And she's like, and Frankie she goes into something like, we all knew.
Yeah, we can all tell.
And she's like, what do you mean? She goes, there's a pool going around.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. Well, yeah, because Frankie's like, duh. Like, you're pointing out the obvious to me. Yeah.
And I just thought that was a really, really good
How would you feel if somebody was taking a poll about whether or not you were into somebody or not?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't take it.
It wouldn't bother me. I'd be like, oh, okay, you guys are talking about my relationship.
I'd be like, can we split the money if whoever wins?
Yeah.
So, and that's what kind of Frankie was saying is, I'm going to be rich. So,
Well, then, you have May finally kind of talks to Gus, and then she's basically like, I have something to tell you. And we don't actually see what she said, or we don't hear what she says. And it cuts to another scene. And then we go to the cluckery where Frank Jr. is. And Mr. Chicken, Christian comes in the door, and he's like all freaked out still, kind of.
He didn't like that tornado.
Yeah, sometimes men, not the best in emergency situations, But
I'm not gonna lie.
But Frank Jr. has been looking over the franchise agreement, and he.
Yeah, I love that exchange because Christian comes in thinking he's gonna kind of persuade Frank Jr. to give him the recipe to the chicken because his stuff just sucks, for lack of a better word.
Well, it's frozen. It's not
frozen,
fresh,
and it's all about the sauces and everything. And you think, okay, for 2 seasons now, Frank has come across as a gullible person, right?
Yes.
Like a kid in an adult's body.
But he wants that quick.
Right. That money scheme. Like a lot of people do. And so he disappears in the back, and then, Christian follows him because he's leaving town. And he talks about, here's my recipe. And he goes through all the ingredients, and you're just laughing because that's the wrong.
Right, because Frank eventually agrees. He's like, okay, I'll give it to you. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't know if that would be the recipe or anything.
He had ginger, some paste. I was like, okay.
Like almond paste or something was on there.
So
and I was like, I think that's probably not.
And then you see the smile on Junior's face, and
Well, and you think in that moment, hopefully he's protecting the family, because that's really his legacy, right? And his family's legacy, his daughter's legacy. And you hope he's doing the right thing in that moment. And you're right. When Christian walks away, he's kind of, Frank Jr. is smiling when he leaves. So that leads you to believe that he did not give the correct recipe to him.
And I do have to say that their store, the Cluckery, was the only one really that didn't look like it had a lot of damage to it.
Well, sometimes that happens in church,
It kind of reminded me of the Three Little Pigs. You had the one that was made of straw, the one that was made of...
well... Unfortunately, a tornado just,
It doesn't matter.
You never know where, it could go down a street and go every other house. It's just so wild what ends up happening with that. But
And so the next scene is up in Franny's. Where they're cleaning up, and in comes the publisher of the book and the senior editor. And
of Amanda's. They want to publish her
doodles, her stories.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
And that was a great
It
scene.
was.
So,
well, at first when they walk in and the publisher's like, howdy, y'all. And then she says, like, bless this mess. And she's like, it's fun to try to talk like y'all. And I'm like, that's a little condescending.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What are you talking about?
You want us to do your accent?
And then she's brought along a senior editor with her, and he's a real douche.
Oh, my God.
He ends up being just a real...
Henry, yes.
A real douche, right?
Because he's sitting there explaining that, what he's trying to tell Amanda what they want her to be, right?
Right.
Like, they want her to appeal to the plain Jane average woman. And that's when Amanda you could start seeing the wheels rolling in her head. And she's like, you're missing the point of my drawings. These are about my life and my loved ones in my town, right? And she says, I've never met an average woman.
Mother.
Right.
An average mother.
And I thought that was really powerful.
Yes, that was a really, really good line. I like that she finally spoke up for herself. Yeah. Again, she, like Nancy, is finding her voice too, right? Her mom's always had it because she's had to, right? Yeah. She's had to be tough. But Amanda's finally coming into her own. She's saying what she wants. She's saying how she feels. Yep. She's not going to be walked all over or mansplained or, basically the guy was kind of a misogynistic ass, really, in that moment because he called her, she hit the average mom bullseye. And I was like, average? Who are you talking to? So yeah, it was great. It was great when she said she's never met an average mother. And then she basically tells them she's not interested in publishing with them.
That's
right.
great.
And then she tells Frankie, don't. And Frankie's like, I'm proud of you. Or she says something in that moment.
Frankie tells Amanda how proud she is for standing up for that.
Right.
And then Amanda says, don't let anyone dim your shine.
Right.
And
right.
I thought that
was
was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. So now we move over to Mimi's.
Right.
Ooh. Oh, for the left.
And Mimi's has been totally demolished, right, to the ground, except like the doorway or something is still standing. And they all, so who's all there? It's Amanda.
It's Amanda, May, Nancy, and Gus, and Frankie.
Is Sergio? No, he's not there.
He's
okay,
not there.
So it's just the four. It's the four women, right? And they all cry. You know, Gus starts to cry, and they all cry. And then Nancy has the idea she picks up flowers, right?
Yeah,
and she
flower.
hands one to Gus, and she's like, "I'd like to thank Mimi's," and she goes on to what she's thankful for.
Right, the memory that Mimi's brought to her.
Right, and then they each. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And then they each one by one to kind of help ease, Gus's pain.
Right.
And then I like that Gus said, she says that Mimi's meant she didn't need a checkbook, like she was taken care of, and that was her bread and butter, right? Like,
and
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was so powerful because, Amanda's coming out of her shyness, her self-being. May or Gus, she's learning to let go of things,
right?
And it's not all about hanging on to them because they have meaning or something. So I thought that was really good.
That was,
because that's a business that you brought up from.
Well, your family had you had it for generations,
and
in your families,
just gone
in your family,
in a blink of an eye is a lot.
Well, and then Shawna shows up. She's crying too, and she just came to say she was sorry. And then Gus, and I really did like the part where you see Gus just feel the relief, like she starts smiling, and it's just like a weight is lifted off of her because that is her past, right?
Yep.
Like, and as sad as it is to see it go, she was holding on to so much. She had such a rough life. Maybe it was time to. Yeah. That's what she needed.
Yeah.
Her house burned down in the last season.
Well, I think she started to see that she doesn't have to do it alone anymore, and that she does have a community.
Right.
She does
That's
have
true also.
people that love her family.
That's a really good
But
point.
I really loved how she went to the back of the house with what's left of it, nothing really. And she looks out to where all the wedding stuff was.
Yeah.
And she just starts to laugh. Like, that was the release.
That was the relief.
That was the release. Right. And she tells May, we have a wedding to put on.
Right. Stop standing around feeling sorry for me. Let's go.
So that was good.
Like, have your moment. Just don't unpack and live there.
Correct.
Right?
I agree with you 100%. So now we're at the wedding cleanup.
Now we have the wedding cleanup. And Sabrina walks up and screams.
Yes.
Screams a big old scream because it is,
not what she
demolished pretty much. And Gruster asked her what she needs, and she says, everything. And he's like, you got it, babe. And then he walks away, and her whole demeanor changed. She's like, babe. And then she becomes a completely different person and smiles. And she's
did you see the expression on Lindsay's face?
No.
She was like, Mama.
Mama, okay.
You still got it, Mama.
He's making you okay.
Yeah. That was great. I love Gruster, man.
Yeah, it was good. It was just a great, and it wasn't even that big of a moment, but it was a big moment for the characters.
Right.
And I love that. That's part of what I love about this series too.
Yeah.
So
it's very well written.
Yeah.
And then you have Gus trying to pull out the 10 of her memories that she has, and then,
that we've seen in a few episodes, right?
And then you have May, who sits down beside her and asks, what is this, Mom? And she says, this is all my stuff, the stuff when you were little. And then she pulls out the yellow dress, and she kind of explains what the dress was, and which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And you can see that May starts to get an
idea. Yeah, you kind of see it on her for sure in that moment. Yeah.
So...
And then you also have, at the same time, very interesting, by the way, that box survived.
Yeah, right.
You never know, right? It was like that treasure box. There's a reason for things.
There is.
And then you have, Frank and Sergio work together on not an arch, but like kind of I want to call it like an archway or forget what they called it, but and Frank Jr.'s like, I like to build things, and I forgot that. And so
And I have
he
an
starts
idea.
pulling wood and stuff, and Sergio dives in to help him. You have the whole town helping to make the wedding venue, shine, and like bring all the pieces in. They're putting flowers up. And what I'm confused, the only thing I was a little confused about, is that all on the same day?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
So same day, right?
Yeah.
So everything gets ready. And then you have a scene where Shawna and Amanda, and everybody's outside. They're setting up for the wedding. They're still putting things up. And Shawna's like, I heard your publisher was ruder than a Kentucky basketball fan sitting visitor side of a home game. And
The one-liner is so good.
And then Amanda's kind of like, yeah, they were rude. I should do it. And, or no, Amanda's just like, I guess it just wasn't in the cards basically for that. And then Shawna tries to convince her. She's like, you should still publish your book.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, and then Shawna's, I think Amanda says,
sure, sign me up, is what she says.
Well, Amanda says, who am I going to find in this, like, something like, who in the small town would publish, like, is there a publisher there?
Right. And she said, why don't you publish locally? And she was like, sure, sign me up. And then that's when, what?
So you're saying Amanda was saying it sarcastically.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. And that's when Shawna, under her breath, is like, you underestimate my talents.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
And then you find out that Queen of Cowboys, the book that was brought up a few times, right, in an episode that, like,
and
Gus
it appeared in a
didn't
couple other episodes.
Yeah. Queen of the Cowboys was written by Shauna, and we were both like, of course, Shauna.
Should have known that's who wrote the book.
That was actually a great revelation.
Did not see that coming.
I didn't see that coming either. We should have. And then she says she self-published it under a pen name. And then again, we're like, of course she did. Of course. Shauna coming in again with something else.
And it was funny because Amanda said, you wrote that? And she's like, yeah. She goes, you made me blush when I was reading this.
Amanda said that, right? Yeah. And then I love when Shauna's like, not to brag, but to brag.
Right.
It did really well on Book Talk. So
Book Talk.
She's got her hand, she's got all these little businesses, ways of making money, and
it's really
things.
good.
I just love it. It's just
love her
funny
character.
that she's a publisher.
Yeah.
And then she says she will publish Amanda's book.
Yep.
So.
And then we move on to May's home.
And that's when May asked Gus, which was really a cool scene, to walk her down the aisle, and she's like, it should always have been you.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm sorry. It just, I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner. Right. It should always have been you. And you can see that Gus is really moved by that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. And she says, as long as you move slow.
Yeah, that's right. Because she has a hard time walking.
Right.
Gus does because of the MS. So yeah, I just thought I really appreciated that. I thought that was pretty cool.
She was very, very thrilled. I really liked it.
Yeah, and then we get to the wedding, right? We finally have the wedding that we've been talking about all season long.
After 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, May pulls up in a car.
Right.
She gets out.
Well, somebody was driving her.
Right. I didn't. Who was driving?
Because I have no idea. I didn't even look.
I wasn't even looking either. And lo and behold, she's wearing Gus's yellow dress.
Yeah, one of Gus's favorite memories
that she had in the
past.
Can.
Yep, the tin.
How cool was that?
Box. Yeah,
loved it.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then Nancy was ordained earlier in the day, which online, which you could do everything online. Frankie kind of walks her through that, which I thought was cute.
That was a cute
scene.
Yeah.
So of course Nancy marries them.
Right.
They say their vows,
which were really good.
Yeah.
And then they kiss.
And then they kiss, and they're married finally. And then we get to the party, right? Right? The reception.
Yeah, they're at the reception.
And Frank Jr. goes up to Amanda. And I was really worried that they were going to end up kissing and Sergio was going to see it. That's what I thought.
That's what I was thinking
was going to happen. And then they kind of changed it up. And, he apologizes to Amanda, which I thought was really great. He said he wasn't nice to her.
Right.
In their marriage for a long time. He hated himself and he took it out on her.
Yep.
And then he gives her the divorce papers
Right.
that he has
hands them over.
signed,
Yeah.
right? And they hug, and then he just walks away.
Right.
And I was like, what just happened?
At that moment, I was like, oh, man, do I have to like Frank Jr.
I
now?
know. Do I have to change everything I've said for 2 seasons about Frank Jr.? I know people can change, but man, it just seems like on a dime. I don't know. I just kept waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah, me too.
And literally it does later. But, but I was like, I don't know if I buy it totally.
Right. Yeah, me either.
You just keep waiting. Like, what's he really doing? What's really going on?
Mm-hmm. And then we move on to the dance between Sergio and Amanda.
Yeah.
Which was, ooh, okay.
Was
because Sergio kept saying, I needed to tell you something. And she's like, what? And he's like, back when we were at Franny's under the table.
Oh, during the tornado.
She's like, what? Did you forget to close out the register? And
she
says a couple other things. And he's
That's
like,
right.
no, it's this. And he kind of gets
Leans
cheek to cheek
in,
with her. And then they end up kissing. And I
Kissing.
thought that was a really good shot. So.
And finally for them too, right?
Finally for them.
Together.
Yes.
And then that wraps up, and then they go to 2 months later.
Right.
2
months later.
So Nancy and a few of the City Hall workers are
Right.
at that railroad crossing.
Yes.
They have finally fixed the railroad crossing arm.
Yes.
It is working appropriately. The lights are flashing. It's going
They're
up and
ringing.
down. It finally works.
Yep. And she tells Nancy,
Who?
one of the town's ladies. I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name either. I should know. Yeah.
Well, anyway, she says,
Pauline? No.
it's not Pauline, it's the other, Esther.
Oh, maybe Esther.
Yeah. She tells her,
I'm not sure.
well, the mayor race is coming up in 2 months. And that kind of gets Nancy moving in that
And we kind of saw
direction.
that coming for sure, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think Esther and Pauline saw it too.
Yeah. And then you have Frankie's leaving for New York City. And so she's at her house, but Frank Jr. is there to say goodbye also.
Right.
So Amanda and Frank Jr. say goodbye to her. And she walks out, and does she take
suitcase?
Does she just leave then?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of that moment. Yeah. So Frankie's headed to New York City, and Amanda basically asked Frank about his upcoming date, which apparently he was going to be going out on a date that night. Right.
Yeah. And we find out who it's with.
Who was it with?
Shawna.
Was it?
Yeah.
How did I miss that?
Yeah.
What?
And he was like, he said, how did you know? He's like, Shawna. And he's like, well, it's kind of a meeting of the minds.
Oh, so maybe they were going to get together about something business related. Right. Oh, I heard her say Shawna, and I just figured because Shawna gossips and tells everybody everything, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I thought.
And that was another scene I thought them two were going to kiss before Amanda said, ooh, I heard about your date.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be
kind of thought it was coming. And then the narrator says, Frank had properly disposed of his rotten old self and was never looking back.
Yeah. He sure wasn't at that point.
And then you have the scene where Gus and Nancy are getting ready to go somewhere. You don't know where, but they're going on a trip together.
Right.
And Frank Jr. shows up at Nancy's and he's like, goodbye, I'll take care of everything. You guys have a great time.
And when you come back, this tree will be trimmed.
Will be trimmed, yeah. So
I
no
should
more
have done
trees
it a long time ago, he says.
No more trees falling on the house. Yeah, so then the narrator's like, time marches on, y'all, right?
Yeah.
And then, so they leave, they get on the plane, and then they cut to Amanda. She's got a cover for her book, and Shawna is publishing her book. So she's gotten, it's called The Chicken Sisters.
And it's
of
freaking
course.
cute.
It's cute. It's cute. It's got them all, the women.
In aprons.
Right, in aprons on it. Cartoon character.
And their hairstyle.
Right. It was kind of cute.
It was really cute. And then that's when some tourists stop in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah. And they're like, well, how did you get here? And they're like, the train. Right. And remember at the beginning of the season, they talked about how the train back in the day stopped coming through because there was nothing there.
There was nothing there. Yep.
And then Amanda goes outside and she looks and she sees the line of people waiting to get in because they had heard.
And people had watched the show. And so they were coming.
Yes.
If you get on a show, they will come, I guess is what.
If you cook it,
If
they
you
will
build
come.
it, they will come. Right. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. So you see their business is starting to pick up,
Right.
which is pretty cool. And then they go to Frank Jr.
Yes.
at the house, at his mom's house,
Mm-hmm.
and he puts a ladder against the tree and he climbs up.
And he starts sawing.
He starts sawing.
And you just knew it was going to happen.
You knew he was going to fall.
And there it was.
And there it was. So the real question is, does he die?
Well,
We don't know. I mean, we don't know at the end for sure either way.
right.
Or does he survive and then that changes the dynamic if they get a season 3?
I think they will. I think because they left a lot of things, even though they tied a lot of things up, they did kind of leave some things open for another season.
Well, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. They tidied it up so if the series ends, you sort of have some
closure in it.
Closure of the characters. But there is room to come back from that.
Right.
Also, they didn't tie it up in such a tight bow that you can't undo it. So, but I don't know. I mean, I sort of felt like you have somebody who we just love to hate. He's so good at his character, James Cott, at making us just really dislike him a lot. And then he kind of comes around and I just felt like, I don't know. I just,
right.
I'm not sure I totally bought it. And I know I've heard in the book, I don't know if he dies, if that character dies in the book or if he's dead like when the book starts. Like he is not a part of the book that the series is based on. So I don't know if they're going that direction, but I really think that would be, I don't know how Nancy would come back from that. I'm not, if they had him,
Frankie,
if they get a season 3, would they have him die? I'm not sure that they would. And Frankie and Amanda. I just don't. I think that would be too far.
Well,
I think that would
there
go
was
too
kind
far.
of a hint. They show Amanda back at Franny's, and her phone is ringing, and it's the hospital.
Well, he could be dead.
He could be dead, but he could also be alive.
Right. So I mean, it's the hospital. Well, that's true. Because otherwise police would show up, I would guess, or they want her to come down. I mean, I have to believe he'd still be alive, and that's what's going to throw him back into being his old self.
Right.
Because he's upset he'll be injured or paralyzed or something. But so that's where I was kind of like, do I really like the ending? I'm not sure.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's okay. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. What do you think about the season as a whole before we give our...
I actually really enjoyed it. The only thing I did miss was May's best friend who owned the inn.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why he wasn't in it this season. So
because he was in the Wish Swap.
Yeah.
That was really cute.
Yeah, it was.
His name is escaping me right now, but yes.
I think his character name was Kevin, right? Something like that. Anyway, I thought it was a great season. I think they gave you a lot and they answered a lot.
Yes.
So I really enjoyed it.
They had the characters come around a bit. And I mean, for this episode, then, how many drumsticks would you give it as a season finale of
I'm going to give it a 4.
2? A 4.
And 2 biscuits.
A 4 and 2 biscuits. I'd probably give it like 3.75.
Okay.
As a season finale. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm still like on the fence about it.
Right.
Sort of.
Because of the ending.
Yeah. If I don't know. We'll have to see. I really hope they get a season 3. I really love the characters. I love the actors who play the characters. I think there's a lot more they can do, a lot more places they can go.
Right.
So we'll just have to wait and see what Hallmark decides.
And once we hear it, we'll announce it on one of our podcasts.
Yep.
All right. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
All right. If you really, really like the show, we would really, really appreciate your positive review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you didn't really, really like the show, we'd still appreciate your positive review.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts and on social media so you don't miss a thing. Until next time,
cheers.